was watching LeBron James. In fact, we've got a clip of LeBron James. Let's see what he had to say about the idea of basketball games in the NBA in America being held behind closed doors.
I ain't playing. I ain't got the fans in the crowd. That's what I play for. I play for my teammates, I play for the fans. That's what it's all about. So if I show up to an arena and ain't no fans in there, I ain't playing. So they can do what they want to do.
What was interesting was they laughed thinking he was joking. He wasn't joking.
No.
He doesn't see the point of playing a top professional sports event without spectators.
Yeah, it's really tough. I mean, he's very passionate. He's playing for the fans, absolutely. But we're in a slightly different period at the moment. And for me, in the middle of the Six Nations, we've already had games postponed, we've had games cancelled. I want to see the Six Nations completed. My first thought would be play the games, get them scheduled and get them played behind closed doors if it's deemed to be unsafe for fans to travel there. At the moment, no one in this country is saying that sporting events need to be cancelled, that fans can't go to it. So as it stands, continue as we are.
But you would rather they were cancelled altogether?
Yeah. Well, I just think you won't get a true representation. If you're a Liverpool fan, I'd be devastated if this season was cancelled, because you're rightly champions. You should be crowned champions. If you're, at the bottom of the table, you're a Norwich or a team like that, you could argue the 12th man is the crowd. Yeah. You could have had good results at home.
Absolutely right.
I was at Southampton the weekend. We went one man down. We got someone sent off after a few minutes, and we went a goal down, and the crowd were absolutely fantastic, really helping the home team. I can guarantee if there was no crowd there, heads would drop, you'd go 2-0 down, 3-0 down.
It's a totally different thing.
You should be able to.
Unless you change your mindset.
Exactly. You should be able to be professional enough to play with no one there.
And take that into account, exactly.
But I know, being an athlete, competing at the county championships with one man and his dog, you're not going to run a world-class time.
No.
You step out in front of 100,000 people in an Olympic final.
Then what do you do about the league, the Premier League?
Postpone it.
Do you?
I know that's not ideal. It's not ideal.
The problem
the
problem is with football, for example, you postpone it. You've got the European Championships this summer. You can't actually postpone it, so you'd have to cancel it, and that's the problem. David Davies, you ran the FA, former executive director there. This is a bit of a nightmare, isn't it, for any sporting authorities? When you see what's happening in Italy, you've got to think there may be a very strong possibility that we will have to do something similar here.
It's a nightmare, but it's also the worst thing. It's the unpredictability of it all. Nobody knows. If you postpone matches, how long do you postpone them for? Do you postpone them till Easter? Do you postpone them till May, to June? And actually, having thought about this a great deal, for me, the answer is pragmatism first and foremost. Absolutely, everybody wants to play these games with normal circumstances, with all the spectators there. And I think the government is going to urge the sports authorities to continue as they are for as long as they can. But I think with Ewan's sports, athletics, if I might be so bold as to talk about that, the Olympic Games, that is a very, very big issue with 26 summer sports coming together. I think they'll put off the decision there for as long as they can about the Olympics, but it'll have to be taken probably in May.
Listen, the Olympics aren't going to happen. I don't think the European Championships are going to happen. People have to get real about what's going on here. Italy is getting decimated by coronavirus. That's why they're taking this draconian action. The idea that we are going to avoid this, given that we're on a trajectory which Italy was on 2 weeks ago, I think is for the birds. I really do. And the question then becomes, David, the integrity of the sport. As Ewan said, it can make such a difference, say, to teams battling relegation, to have a crowd and so on. And if they then say, right, if we don't have crowds, Sky and BT are going to be ordered not to allow pubs to screen the games, to avoid gatherings there as well, then the people who really miss out will be the fans on the breadline with not much money, who maybe scrape together enough for a season ticket, but can't afford subscriptions to watch them on TV. At that point, why should we be continuing the games when the very people who these games are really about aren't able to watch it?
Piers, you're absolutely right, but you've also got to answer my question about unpredictability. How long are you postponing games for?
You know what? My priority here is people's health.
Well,
hang on. I've been getting very angry on social media. Social media's taken a view, it's only the elderly and those with underlying conditions. Sorry, These people matter
Yeah,
just as
no,
much as
of
anybody
course.
else, right?
And you go, also the other people who matter are players,
Yeah.
of course, who will be concerned.
Of course, we had a Scottish female rugby player who was actually diagnosed with coronavirus.
Right.
Their game got cancelled at the weekend. We are trying to eliminate any greater risk at the moment, but if we're going to ban sporting events and mass gatherings, let's ban buses, let's ban tubes, let's ban going to the cinema, let's do all
but that may be what we have to do.
No, if
my
that's
point
the action
to
we
Davies'
take,
question,
fair enough.
to Davies' question, I would say the priority checklist has got sport is low down my priority list. My priority list
Depending
is
who you're asking.
my priority is protecting the lives of the elderly and those in this country who've got underlying conditions. They are number one by a country mile.
100%.
Then the economy, which is clearly tanking. This morning the FTSE crashed by 8%. That is also then the second priority, helping people with small businesses who might get wiped out by this. And then a very distant third comes people's pleasure, frankly, which is watching sport, going to the cinema, and all that kind of thing. And I think that's got to be the checklist.
I'm in total agreement with you, of course, but it depends who you're asking these questions to. If you're asking the questions to the people that run Cheltenham Festival and this week's worth £100 million to them, they'd probably put that top of their agenda. That's why we need independent people actually advising us as to what we do. Health has to be number one.
Well, we would have asked the culture,
we did ask the culture
secretary, but he was too busy to come on and give us any answers. So shame on him, shame on the
Can I
British
just point
government
out-
for continuing to not actually
But he
put
spoke
people
to
up
other
to talk about these damn
outlets.
things. Yeah, he's doing a few other shows, but Good Morning Britain viewers aren't good enough for him.